Okay, so what we just did just now was walk through the process of sending out the e-sign offers from the Deal Finders funnel, just the logistical process of doing that. We initially started out by going over the purchase and sale agreement itself, the key clauses, the elements that make up for an investor-friendly purchase and sale agreement. Talked about the benefits of doing a multiple offer strategy. Actually, bounced around inside a couple client funnel accounts. Showed you how you can use the property data details to actually, craft those initial offers. If you see, for example, mortgage data where a property has significant equity or free and clear, it very much ties into the ability to get flexible and creative with those, those terms, seller financing, subject to, so forth and so on. And then, of course, you have the ability to send out multiple offers from the system based off of price, terms, and then start your negotiation with the seller. It's really, really, a great way, to engage with sellers is sending out two offers instead of just sending out one. That way you get the seller something to chew on and you find out what's most important to them in terms of, their motivations and their needs. Any questions before we actually take a look at one of our clients' campaigns in terms of their targeting, in terms of their list size, in terms of the lead generation? We're going to pivot and take a look at one of our recent client campaigns, take a look at the list targeting, take a look at the types of marketing that was done, take a look at the qualified leads that were generated, and then actually point out some pipeline opportunities from one of our recent client accounts. Any questions before we continue on? All right, so let's go ahead and dive into two of our client accounts. We'll go back to Patricio Green's account. And so we'll do that now. Now take a look at going back to February 1st, and I add in inbound and outbound calls. I'm sorry, inbound and outbound text messages. Hit apply. Now you'll see all the activity going back to the beginning of February. Again, I'm going to drop down to type so you can see the type of activities. This is what I was referring to. He has over 11,000 motivated sellers he's targeted. And this message outbound is indicative of the number of outbound text messages. So you can see here is basically one outbound text message sent for each seller in his funnel, 1-to-1. So he did a one text message campaign, whereas I strongly recommend doing a text 1, text 2 campaign. You get a better conversion. Then as far as outbound calls, you can see here that there's 1,800 outbound calls to a list of 11,000 records. So roughly 15%, 15% outbound are you selling prospecting rate. Once you do outbound calling to a higher percentage of your list, you're going to get more leads coming in because you'll have outbound text messages, outbound calls. It's a mix, a marketing mix that's going to generate more leads. So if we take a look at what that inbound contact rate is, if we only look at inbound, outbound texts, you'll see here that this is what I was referring to earlier, rough 1448 in terms of inbound text messages into the 11,000 size list. It's roughly a 15% contact rate. So compare 15% contact rate to what people get on direct mail, 1, 2, 3%. It's a tremendous contact rate. When you add in the inbound calls with the inbound text messages, he's getting somewhere around a 15+% contact rate. Now that is only going to increase once he does more outbound voice. Are you selling prospecting messages, outbound cold calls, outbound ringless voicemails, outbound recorded voicemail blasts? You'll get a higher conversion rate. But as it is, he already has 17 qualified leads, as you can see here, with his list of 11,000 sellers. We like to say if you get anywhere from 5 to 20 qualified leads, when you start with a list of 5 to 10,000 sellers, you're doing good. Again, if you get 5 to 20 qualified leads and Patricio has 17, so he's right in that range. But if you get anywhere from 5 to 20 qualified leads with a list of 5 to 10,000 records, you're doing good. He'll do even better if he were to send out voice. Are you selling voice messages, cold calls, ringless voicemails, or voicemail blasts? He would even get more leads because he would reach people by different marketing messages, marketing modalities. So let me go ahead and show you what I was referring to earlier by the reporting tags in terms of the status. So if I take a look at reporting tags here, you'll see that he has those 1,400 contacts, 73% of them are already considered dead. What does that mean? That means that the virtual assistants, the staff has categorized them as, not viable leads for whatever reason. Whether they said, don't contact me anymore, or a property, is not for sale, whatever the case may be, 73% are dead. Still has 20 some percent that needs follow-up, not yet interested or needs follow-up. But the bottom line is that once you have more than 50, definitely 60% of the contacts in your system categorized as dead, you have to then add more seller records to your funnel. You have to add more additional lists to your funnel. That's where it's important to then run another campaign. That's where it's important to actually add more vacant properties, more pre-foreclosure properties, more inherited property owners. That's when you add more records to your funnel so you can do more are you selling prospecting to new potentially motivated sellers. So when you have your dead leads hit 50% or higher, get more seller records into your funnel, run a new campaign, and you can do that by going to dealfinderschallenge.com. So let me go ahead and throw that into the live chat again. I'm going to actually go over exactly what you get with the Deal Finders Challenge here in a second. Any questions for me?